GMOs. What are they? War has many casualties. 1 man versus 1 million invaders. There is many things on this topic. You're probably asking, what am I talking about? Chemical warfare versus biological warfare. Planes flying overhead, dumping toxic chemicals all over the ground. What is it? Well, this is your average farmer trying to deal with pests, bugs, weeds, and disease on their farm. GMOs can be a solution to such problem. Okay, Andrei Nikolaevich is the original creator, well, the founder of modern GMOs. He was a Russian scientist in 1935 who first was able to split DNA into its purest form. It wasn't until 1973 which a student at Stanford University officially comes up with the idea for GMOs. And they just run with it. In 1994, they create one of the first GMOs sold in the grocery store. This is the Flavor Save tomato. It's a delayed ripening tomato that is supposed to keep it from spoiling. Okay. And then in 1997, the European Union has questions as to whether this will work. So they make labels on GMOs mandatory. They require that anything that's sold that is genetically modified has a label. They might have been right, because a lady in Quebec in 2011 has found out to have Bt toxins found in her blood from eating Bt corn, created by Monsanto. Okay, next. Well, first of all, what are they? GMOs versus bugs. Pesticides used on GMOs and used on bugs are not stationary. The wind can blow them around, the water can wash them off. They're not good. Well, GMOs, on the other hand, they keep the poison there. It's more like holding it so that it doesn't really move around. Okay? Bugs really can't tell the difference between these GMOs and the normal plants. So both plants look nearly the same. They'll eat them both. But with the GMO plants, the bugs die instead of surviving and destroying crops. Good for the farmer. Plus, they work a lot better than pesticides. Because here's one bug in particular. This is called the striped cucumber beetle. This bug destroys thousands of dollars worth of crops, and eats everything from corn to cucumbers, as its name mentions, watermelon, tomatoes, and squash. To kill this bug, you could pick it off by hand, but that's too labor intensive and too time consuming. You could use pesticides, but then again, who wants to eat pesticides? Or you could use GMOs, which kill them and save your crops at the same time. Next. Okay. GMO versus weeds. There's no way around this. You will have to use herbicides because GMOs cannot kill weeds themselves. GMOs are good at killing bugs. Weeds, on the other hand, not so much. Now, where GMOs come in is they are herbicide resistant. So when you spray herbicides on your farm fields, your normal crops of GMOs will not die instead of the weeds. So weeds die, GMOs don't. Okay, next. And here's one such an example of a weed, prickly lettuce. Horrible, horrible plant. deep root makes it incredibly hard to get on the garden or farm. And they have little thorny things on there. Anyway, GMOs are resistant to the pesticide so that these guys die and they don't. Okay, next. Okay. With diseases, there are a lot of diseases which are complicated. Some diseases are soil-borne, thus they need to be able to kill the bacteria and viruses. Other ones are more like environmentally controlled, like blossom end rot, where change in temperature causes funky brown spots to appear on the bottom of like tomatoes and other fruit. So GMOs develop new traits which are better able to withstand such changes in temperatures and water content. They zap the bacteria in the soil, which kills them, and don't pick up the viruses in the soil. And next. And one such example here is Fusarium wilt caused by bacteria. GMOs will not end up like this plant, okay? They are more equipped to survive within the farm field. Okay, next. Okay. Now, with future uses, I mean, you could sell them as animal feed because animals can't really tell the difference, and they may have more nutrients. It's an experimental technology. We don't really know quite yet if this would work. The one thing that's important with this is human needs. They're better for growing. Third world countries should use these because they may help with our poor food production. One thing I can't stress enough, it's taste. Okay, the taste of these versus the other things, like regular crops, there's a big difference. Okay, I mean, you can probably taste the difference. I mean, like regular crops taste good. These may not necessarily taste good. Once again, still developing technology, and it is important. We must do research. We have to have more research. That is the most important thing. When all this comes together, there may be warnings. Other uses, biodiesel. Corn may produce more little kernels on there, which in turn produces more starch, which in turn produces more biodiesel. So it can sort of help with the biodiesel problem. They can still be composted if you don't feel like eating them. So you can just put them in soil and they rot away. But they increase cash flow for farmers. That is one of the big reasons why they're used. Because they're going to save the farmers boatloads of money. Why wouldn't they use that? When you put this all together, it spells GMO. That's why you should use them. Because, well, they help third world countries. They help farmers. They make them more money. And as far as we know, there's not too many negative health effects. Once again, research, and more research. We have to have the research.